glad to see a bunch of awesome filled up coffee cups, getting ready to caffeinate our day. So thank you for coming out, everyone. My name is Jordan Carlisle, for those of you who don't know me. I am one of the organizers of 1 Million Cups, which is a Kauffman Foundation program. Kauffman Foundation is a foundation out of Kansas City, Missouri, that is one of the most amazing organizations that backs entrepreneurship in the entire country and maybe in the entire world. The work that they do is absolutely phenomenal, and we have them to thank for allowing us to use their brand and their tools and their resources to bring 1 Million Cups to Little Rock. And it's been an absolute blessing since we've been able to do it. So thank you to them. Also, like to give a big thank you to the Little Rock Chamber of Commerce. They are my awesome employer, and they provide this amazing facility. I'm learning new things about this place and how powerful and how many tools that they have in this place for us to do really great events like this. So thank you to them. Also like to thank the Arkansas Venture Center. Mike Steely is one of our organizers as well, and he's been helping really power the event, bringing on new speakers, getting people prepared, taking them through the powerful presentations course, and being here to help me with coffee. And then also we have Nicholas Norfolk. He's in the back doing exactly what he was born to do, tweeting his heart away. So actually, give it up for Nicholas. He's been here, I think, one of the most out of anybody. And he's not even going to break a sweat while you clap for him because he's still doing his job. So on that note, if you notice, he's tweeting right now. I encourage you guys to use your phones this whole time. Take pictures, tweet. Our handle is 1 Million Cups Little Rock, and we can shout out for each of the speakers' handles as well. And our hashtag is 1MCLR. I know it's cheesy, but it makes a big difference when when we're able to collect all of the pictures and moments and share those. And then actually the Kauffman Foundation uses those and shares them with the rest of the nation. So all 35 other cities and growing that have 1 Million Cups is tuned into the 1 Million Cups channel, and they all actually get to see what's going on in Little Rock. So it's really important to capture that stuff and give us some good content to share. Also like to thank one of our other sponsors, WebJive and Design Matters, for capturing each week on video. They've been doing this for about 4 or 5 weeks now, and all the videos that they've done have been great. Have those on our YouTube channel, so if you ever miss a week, we post those up, and it's great content to share also for the speakers so that they can have something to come away with and show people. So really thank them as well. So give them a round of applause. Also like to thank West Rock Coffee. They are the coffee sponsor for the Little Rock Chamber, and vicariously through the Chamber, we're able to have coffee every single week with no charge. So also very thankful for that. We also have Dustin Williams is one of our organizers in the back. He's been championing 1 Million Cups since the first week, getting people excited about it, telling people what it's about. It's a unique experience, so sometimes people have a hard time understanding what it is. And also Dustin is very influential in the startup community, so his recommendation to come goes a long way. So thank him as well. Woo! We also have Emily Reeves and Warwick Sabin are two of our organizers that have also been championing, and both of them are just crazy busy people. So the fact that they even agreed to become organizers and they cared about that is something to say, and they've done their fair share as well of helping out. So those are our organizer teams thus far. But we have a new member to the organizing team that I'd like to introduce you today. He has been here almost every single week. He is also an alumni presenter. I've watched this guy go from startup weekends through college to now on his own trying to launch his own company. And he's been here every single week, really, igniting this place because he's brought a lot to the table with his story, and also helping us organize and helping hand. So the guy I'm talking about is David Allen. He's in this awesome 1 Million Cups shirt. Give him a round of applause. So one thing I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna hand it over to David. For those of you who haven't been here, 1 Million Cups is an amazing thing. A phrase that the founder of 1 Million Cups coined is that if we can share 1 million more cups of coffee together, we can fundamentally change our entrepreneurial ecosystem. And I strongly believe that because I can't tell you how many times I've had a cup of coffee and spurred a conversation into new business or a new idea. So it's extremely important when you guys come out to this, and it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to all the entrepreneurs who come and present. So thank you guys for being here as well. Give it up for all you guys. All right, so now David is going to introduce our first speaker and take it over from here. So thank you. While you do that, I'll set up. Go ahead.
Great. So speaking of 1 million cups and important people to have coffee with, I met Jeston George, our first speaker today, at a point where we were really considering leaving our company and not doing it anymore. Jeston came like a guiding light and really showed us the way. He's been an amazing mentor to me doing another ed tech startup. Jeston has exited one company before this, so he's officially a serial entrepreneur. And he has brought a lot to the table to the Arkansas entrepreneurial system, and he can tell you a little bit more about his amazing app for schools, Apptegy.
What do I push on here to go to the next?
There's a mouse under there.
There.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. My name is Jeston George. Like David said, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and one of the things that's really going on that's great here in Little Rock is this the vibrant entrepreneurial spirit, and it's been spearheaded by people like Jordan doing the startup weekends is where I first got involved and met a lot of these guys, and now we've got the Innovation Hub, we've got Mike and Lee and Jordan doing this venture center. So really cool what's happening here, and a lot of the things that I'm doing now, I learned and was introduced to from being part of this entrepreneurial ecosystem that we have here in Little Rock now. So get to my company. Started a company called Apptegy. We do two things. We develop native iPhone and Android apps for schools and school districts, as well as we're a single platform for all their communications. So it was a couple of years ago, and really involved in my nephew's life, and he was in kindergarten. He'd have all these events, and his mom would call us like on the day on the event and tell us. I was like, really? And then it happened a second time. I was like, these schools, is there not an app? Is there not something that I could go to know where these events are so I can start planning for this? And so we just kind of started digging around, and what we realized is there weren't very many good options for any, not just schools, but any organization that wanted to communicate with their existing audience that was specifically for their organization. So we started digging around, and what we realized is that you want to build a native application, and they just provide a much better user experience. And that's the most important part, because if your audience comes to your app and they never come back, then what was the point of the app? And they're not going to come back if they have a bad user experience. And today for schools and other organizations, if they want to build this native app, they'd have to go to a custom development company, and you're starting at $30,000 to $50,000 for one app. It wasn't realistic for them. So we started to see how could we come up with a way where we could get native applications to organizations that want to communicate with their existing audience for an affordable price. So what we did is we built a couple of engines that allowed us to deploy apps much, much faster. Okay, we started building this. We were like, oh, this is so cool. This is going to be great. It's going to be affordable. And around this time is when I started meeting the people in the Arkansas startup ecosystem, and I was introduced to the Lean Startup. And I didn't have a Lean Canvas done. I didn't know about much of this, and I started reading all the books. Started reading Steve Blank and Running Lean by Ash Mariah, and a section called Customer Development. So I was reading, I was like, well, maybe I should try this out. And customer development, the way Steve Blank explains it, is it's getting out of the building. It's not sitting there and thinking you know everything and actually talking to your market. So I started going out and actually speaking to the schools and telling them what we were thinking about doing and what we were doing. And there was a lot of excitement, but everybody kept saying the same thing to us. They kept saying that, oh, this is another system we have to update. They're like, this would be cool, but it's another system. We're already overwhelmed. Our technology coordinator already doesn't update the website, things like that. So what we realized is we weren't solving the problem that needed to be solved. And the real problem was it was very inconvenient, and it was fragmented communication for schools. It was a hassle for them to get information. And so what we realized is, hey, this is the problem that we need to solve. And through reading these books and actually following the things and then doing customer development, that's what we set out to solve. So we had to make a pretty big pivot and really start doing a lot more development a little bit differently than what we had originally thought was this great idea. And that's, for any aspiring entrepreneur, the most important thing I can tell you is if you're building a product is get out of the building. Okay, you're not going to learn anything sitting at your computer. Of course you have to build your product, but you need to go talk to your market. Unless you're inventing something new, you need to go talk to your future customers because they're going to give you more insight than you could ever get on your own. So this is where we set out to build a communications platform, and the way we went about doing this is it's from feedback from superintendents, technology coordinators, and communications directors of schools. To digress a little bit, when we were originally rolling this out, it didn't have to be for schools. It was for any organization that needed to speak with their existing audience. But we weren't going to be able to just sell to everybody. So we had to choose a vertical. And so we looked at a lot of different options, and what we came back to around was the best vertical right now, who really needs this, it was education. Okay? So what we did is we built a communications platform. So first thing we do is we develop native iPhone and Android apps for the school or the school district. And we have a software application called Core. What happens in Core is any communication that you need to go out, you update in Core and it updates everywhere. So what this means is right now a school or school district, when they need to get out emergency messages, they go to their school alert system to send out text messages and voice calls. When they want to just share something that's happening at the school, what they do is they have to log into their social media, Facebook or Twitter separately, or their social media manager and send it out. If they need to update their website, they have to put it in a form and a request to the technology department, and the technology department, when they have time, eventually updates the website. So what ends up happening is a lot of information that should be shared, it's never shared because it's too much of a hassle to communicate. So with our system, not only did we develop the iPhone and Android apps, so they're the mobile section for them, now once they enter in the information once, it goes everywhere. So when they enter information into Core, it updates their iOS app, their Android app, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, sends push notifications, can send out text messages or voice calls all from one platform. Literally in 15 seconds, type a message, click where you want to go, and it sends it out. When we started showing this to schools, basically they're telling us, okay, this is perfect. And we want this, or we like this little tweak, and we basically follow their mentorship, and we think we have something that they really like. And biggest reason is we're making their jobs easier, and we're solving a problem that they have. Okay. The other cool thing about what we're doing is we're also, what Core is, we also have a mobile version of Core coming out for this fall. Now what that means is they can actually get out their phone, make an update, or send out a message, and it's everywhere. That means your website is even updated from the message you put into your phone. So it's really cool, really convenient. So so some examples would be you're at a ball game, it's halftime, you take a picture of the team going off and make a little post about it, it's everywhere. Everywhere that you want it to be. Obviously you wouldn't send that out as a text message. Things that normally don't get shared. The science fair just ended and the students have first, second, and third are standing there. Take out your phone, take a picture, put a message, click submit. It's everywhere. So what ends up happening is a lot more information gets shared and it's easy for them to do it. There's no reason not to do it. Another cool feature that we have is that we have a student role. So the administrators can set up students to actually use the system. And so now students start sharing information, but each student has a moderator. So anytime a student shares information that they feel is important, the moderator will get alerted, they have to approve it, and then it goes live as well. So two things happen is one, they just communicate so much more because there's so many more people doing it, and it's much easier to do. And that was basically, that's what we've accomplished is we solved the problem of fragmented communication and it being a hassle to communicate. By solving that, a lot more information gets shared. Okay. Right now, we're in beta. We just brought on our first 4 schools. We brought on 2 private schools and 2 school districts. We want to bring on 6 more and roll all 10 of those out for this fall school year. And as soon as that goes smoothly, then hopefully we'll take off. So that's the goal. All right.
Thank you.
So we're now going to open it up to questions. When you get the microphone, please use the microphone for the video and tell us your name and who you're here with. So anybody that has questions for Jeston.
Charles with Richardson Design and Illustration. When you say that you can update your website, is there a code snippet or something that has to be added to your website in order to make that work the way that it needs to?
So two ways. One, right now, we actually would do the website development for them. And then the second is, as soon as we start going, we're going to open up our API for Core, and that'll allow anybody to integrate with it. So on the first 4 clients that we went to, they had no problem. They switched it over to us. We built our own CMS, so we developed the website for them pretty quickly, and they'll be rolling out the website as well. But that is a good question, because there's going to be some larger districts that have invested a lot of money into their websites, and for those situations, we are going to open up our API and let them connect into Core. Okay.
Hi, I'm Terry Bessier with Know Your Finances, and I do have a question. My daughter goes to a private school, and well, she's changing schools. I'm sorry, but they were sending out voice messages to the parents, and then they decided this last year that it was too costly. So, but the problem is there's a lot of people leaving the school because of lack of communication, and that is seriously the problem. Lack of communication has destroyed. There's 5 kids out of 19 leaving in my daughter's class. So my question to you is how affordable is this for a school district?
That was one of the goals from the get-go. I'm sorry I didn't mention that in the presentation, is how could we make this extremely affordable? When we first went to build the native apps, the whole goal was they could get native apps somewhere else, but how could we do it where it was affordable? And because we're focusing on a specific vertical, we've already built out a lot of the components that are needed. So our development cost is much less because we've already invested so much in the past year. So for them to get all of this, everything that we're talking about is going to cost them less than what it costs them right now just to go get a mobile app built. Right now, they all have alerts and messaging systems. We did a test at one of the school districts that we have on. By them switching to our alert system, their messaging costs went down to a quarter of what it was. And one of the reasons is that these other additional modules don't have to be profit centers for us. They actually are things that make our product better. And so it's more important for us that they get it.
Since we're involved with 3 different private schools because of the ages of the children, would you want to do it now or afterwards disclose the private schools that you are working with so that we would know not to go to them?
Immaculate Heart of Mary and St. Mary's of Carmel in Dallas. And those are the 2.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I can just yell it.
Sure.
My name is Lucas with Retro Cat Media. My question for you was, I know kids aren't supposed to be using their phones in school, so how do you deal with kids trying to tweet out and Facebook stuff during class?
Oh, sure. So this is not for the school, for the regular students to message out on. This is when an administrator can assign maybe the student class presidents a few people throughout the school, give them permission just so that more information gets shared and there's a little bit more engagement. So that would be a terrible idea if they gave all the students access.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Zach Deem, product marketing manager at AT&T. I was curious on when you're making information updates through the application. Some of the platforms you mentioned, like Twitter, have character limitations. So I was curious on, is there different inputs for, like, if they're wanting to make a website update versus a Twitter update, and how
Sure.
you accommodate that.
Sure. So if you want to update information like a post, or if you want to share an article or an event or a sporting event, those are all just general things. You can do all that through our core. If you wanted to change something on your website, you'd have to go into the CMS to do it. So as far as Twitter, our interface is really cool. So they've got a little box where they can put in where they start typing. As soon as it reaches a certain character, so we have, for example, they have Twitter and Facebook and whatever else they want as defaults that always stay on. So if they post it, it automatically goes everywhere. As soon as they exceed certain characters or certain limitations of that, it automatically turns itself off. So we make it really convenient for them to do that. Yeah.
I previously had a venture that was trying to make it into the school market for athletics. And one of the things that I struggled with was, who do I go to actually sell this? What part of the organization do I go to actually get it approved?
Okay. We went through this exact same thing, Jordan, so great question. When we first started out, I've never sold it into schools before, so just talking to people that I know, family members and friends that are involved with schools, and everybody told me, oh yeah, get in touch with the technology coordinator. Started setting appointments with technology coordinators when we're kind of doing our research, and they were lukewarm on it, and I was like, oh, this isn't right. This product is better than the feedback that we're getting. When we started going to superintendents and principals, everything changed. And a lot of times, if it's not a necessity, what we realize is it's not a tech product that we have a vision product. And principals and superintendents understand and see that vision. So if any way possible, we want to get in front of principals and superintendents, because when we do, the feedback we get is awesome. And if it's a technology or a piece of hardware that they have to have, then it's, the technology department can handle it. If it's athletics and the coach can't live without it, I'm sure they can. What we've had the best experiences with is going up as high as possible, principals and superintendents.
So then after that, where do they hand that off to? What departments are you looking at to work with to actually onboard it?
Communications and technology. Yeah. So in one school, it was all through the communications director. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Justin, you got a great product, and we've worked together. I'm Doug with the AVC here. What concerns me, though, is who else is penetrating the market? Who else is coming in?
Sure.
There's a network marketing group out there called Social Zing that does similar type activities. So how are you assessing your competition, and how are you positioning yourself to compete against those people that are coming into your space?
Sure. One of the things we're always keeping an eye on is who else is out there, who else is doing this. And what we're realizing now is that there's no one out there that is building native apps for affordable prices and then also integrating it with software applications to run all their communications. We have been in development for a year. This is not something that is easy to launch. A lot of the companies that might do native apps or do it for inexpensive or have a platform to use for it, they're not focused on education. The ones that are focused on education, it's weird. I don't mean to sound negative on this, but it's like, hey, what's the quickest thing that we can build to get out to the school so we can get our check? And that's what I've noticed is there's a lot of schools starting to get apps, and I use these other companies' apps to show people, and they're like, yeah, that's what we don't want. And there's a lot of people getting web apps, and they run slow, and they're loading website pages, and in the end, it leads to just a very bad user experience. And what we've set out to do is it doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be have to spend a ton of money or we get a bad user experience. And so what we've noticed is we keep an eye on, there's no one that is doing what we're doing. And for them to jump into it, it's not going to be something simple, because native applications to develop for and still be flexible, it's not cheap. And to build an internal engine that would help you deploy it faster, that's not easy as well. So there's a lot of complications there.
Mason Grasham with the Bond Exchange. Back to the ladies' issue over there about the need as opposed to, I would think the parents, the PTAs, the PTOs, those associations would represent a valid voice for the need for your product. But I know that in some schools, the PTAs are more or less influential and powerful. But would they be another author, more or less a department authorized for use for your product, or do you see them as kind of your entrance into that school or district to solve that need?
Absolutely. So one of my next appointments that's coming up, somebody that we're trying to bring into our beta program, I was introduced to them through the PTA, through their PTA organization. One of the cool I didn't go into all the features that are in the app, but one of the features is any other organization within the school can have their own section, and we highly recommend that the PTO and the PTO or PTA have their own section within the app to where they can send out their own live feeds or their own alerts, and so we think the PTA should be very involved. Yeah.
So it seems like a lot of these, this whole communications platform mixed with mobile apps could be useful for other types of organizations outside of education. Do you have plans for going into other types of organizations?
Yes, we do. So we had a huge list of different things we can go to, and we narrowed it down that this needed to be our first vertical. We have a couple of others that we're really interested in, but it's one of those things that we need to get this going first. So as soon as we can get this going, we would love to move into some other industries as well, like healthcare and government.
So do you have plans to do that, or is that just kind of, is that?
I have plans, but no timeline with the plan. Yeah.
Other questions? Okay, so at the end of all of for every 1 Million Cups presenter, we like to ask our startup community what they can do to help the entrepreneur along. So Justin, if you could have something from this group to help you with to push Apptegy to the next level, what would that be?
Referrals, referrals, and referrals. Any kind of introduction. Being a startup, it's very hard. I mean, we're asking these schools to, and these first 4 that have come on, it's awesome that they have and that they believe, because what they're doing is they're believing in me that we're going to deliver, and obviously we are. But we're asking them to spend a lot of money with a startup. And so I'm very thankful for the first clients that have come on and done that. So referrals are really helpful in introduction, and if that would be great. And then the other thing is our goal is in this fall to really start doing some hiring, and we'll be obviously looking for sales reps and some front-end developers, iOS developers, Android developers, and Ruby developers. So any programmers or sales reps or referrals would be great. And other than that, information, feedback, any advice, always be appreciated as well.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.